Then, third thing which they say, which is you have to practice that, that's not easy. And that is Krishna telling in shloka number 38 of chapter 2 again. Chapter 2 and one other chapter, namely chapter 16 are very important. This is 38. Yes. What it says is, because Sukadipye, Samaya, Kritava, Lava, etc. I'll put a read in English. Treating alike pain and pleasure, gain and loss, victory and defeat, engage yourself in battle, thereby you will not incur sin. Now that's not easy, but I have found in my life that if you don't get unduly excited by victory, if you are not unduly depressed by defeat, I've won 5 elections, I've lost 2. But the first time I lost, it was devastating because I had won 3 in a row and then lost 1. And then Mrs. Indira Gandhi was assassinated and everybody lost, so I also lost. Once I lost because of the electronic voting machine. It's not my defeat, but still, on paper it's defeat. Chidambaram was defeated, but he was elected on paper. So, I mean, those things can happen. But still, it didn't make me angry. I was the best. Nor when I won by the largest majority after the emergency, I won by the huge majority. I was assumed that if this present mood continues against corruption, next election I'll win by a huge majority again. But it won't bother me. Because over the years I have trained. It's not something you can get today. You can't make a resolution and it happened tomorrow. It takes time. But I can say 100% that stress is minimized if you can somehow moderate your reactions to defeat and victory, pain, pleasure, bad news, good news, these extreme opposites. And if you can do that, then stress will definitely be completely minimized. So many people ask me, what is it, how is it that you don't show any stress? Well, of course, jokingly I say I give stress to others, so nothing is left for me. But the fact is that over the years, thanks to Paramacharya, I mean, the great God in human form, I had the great privilege of being in frequent contact with him for 7 years, from 1977 to 1984, when he made an exception in my case and would give me instructions on politics and what you could do, what you couldn't do. In that process, the one thing he did kept saying, it doesn't matter what results come, you just keep on doing. Action is important. And not whether you have won, now you can rest and now say I've done all that I have to do. No, you just keep doing. And that is this ability to moderate your emotions between the defeat and victory. This is key to stress. I must tell you, stress is today becoming one of the biggest killers. And if you go back to 2007 Business Week, there's a whole 2-page article in Business Week, which I think now has been taken over by Bloomberg, I think. That I don't think it's called Business Week anymore. It's called Bloomberg's, or maybe it's still called Business Week, but it's owned by Bloomberg. In that, there were 2 pages where they said the corporates were worried, losing executives at their prime age due to heart failure, and they traced it to stress. The stress produces chemicals in your body, and that settles in your heart arteries. So, therefore, there should be no stress. And they began by teaching Bhagavad Gita. Today, that's the new undercurrent which many people don't realize. Like yoga, suddenly yoga is brought on the scene. Today yoga can be taught in any, you can see it being taught in any small town. The next thing that will spread, I'm telling you, in another 10 years will be Sanskrit. Because Bush had already seen that and he had announced the special scholarships, because artificial intelligence, it has been decided, will be conducted, the research will be conducted in Sanskrit. The storage of knowledge will be in Sanskrit. So there are these things which we have, but we don't realize that we have these treasures. We have to use it. So I would say the thing that you must do this. There's a professor of Stanford recently who wrote a book called, her name is Carol Dweck, and she's written a book called Mindset. Which you can buy, you can get it, it's published by Random House, in which she classifies mindset into two types, fixed and growth mindsets. And she says the successful people, ultimately successful people in society are those who have growth mindsets and not those who have fixed mindsets. For instance, if you take the view that I have my limits, I fail because I'm a failure, then you have a fixed mindset. If you have a growth mindset, you will say, well, I failed, but that means I have not been able to exercise my full potential, and hence I would now try again. Now, if I fail, the Gita has already said it in all this in a number of shlokas in chapter 16. If you read chapter 16, I think fully, you will be able to get let me see if I can read one or two for chapter 16. Fearlessness, purity of mind, steadfastness. This is the first sloka of chapter 16. Fearlessness, purity of mind, steadfastness in knowledge, yoga, charity, control of senses, sacrifice, spiritual study, austerity, straightforwardness, etc. Then it goes on other qualities, non-injury, truth, absence of anger, serenity, absence of vilification, modesty, absence of fickleness. Fickleness is something which we all abhor. Once there was a well-known politician many years ago called Pratap Singh Karon. He got a degree from Berkeley, went back and became Chief Minister of Punjab. So one day he was speeding along on the road from Delhi to Chandigarh, and with a friend of his, and one hen came across the road and stopped in the middle, and the car killed it. So the other fellow was a bit religious type. He said, Mama, we have committed sin, the driver could have gone slow, and so on and so forth. So Pratap Singh said, no, speed did not kill the hen. It was the hen's confusion whether to go forward or backward. That killed it. Because it stood the ground there, not knowing whether to go forward or backward. So it is the indecision which kills. And that is one thing that comes out. So I would say, go on reading chapter Singh, and I would urge you, slowly read all of this chapter 16, and you will get all the qualities you need to get rid of stress. So that brings me to the main point. Stress arises out of what? It arises out of anxiety. Anxiety about things which are not in your control. Suppose I start off from my house, I got a very important appointment, maybe I'm going to get a top job, and I'm being interviewed for it. I start off and there's a big traffic jam. And the time fixed for the appointment, I cannot meet. So in this country, appointments and punctuality is very important. So you start fretting, but you can't do anything. It's not your fault. Now what happens is that if you took a positive attitude, maybe this is for your good. I know one friend who fretted for 2 days because in a traffic jam he could not keep an appointment and lost a big contract. 2 days later, he got even bigger contract, which he could not have had if he had agreed to the first contract.